And welcome to video number 143 of Walker This Way with Hazel Walker, the queen of all things
networking and BNI.
I am Mark Simmons. Hazel, I have been really good lately.
I have noticed that you have been good lately.
Yeah, I have not been a troubled BNI member.
Or caused trouble.
Or caused trouble until now. My streak of goodness has ended, and here's why. I thought I was doing the right thing. Clearly I wasn't. So I had an issue a year ago in my chapter. And I had an issue with one of the members, a couple of members a year ago in my chapter. And it kind of stewed with me, and I talked to a bunch of people about it in my chapter, and that seemed to have caused problems, but I'm like, whatever. And so what I've done is I wrote a letter, an email to all the members in my chapter, just voicing my complaint about a couple of the members. And as you may have guessed, it didn't land well.
I'm even making notes here.
Yeah, it didn't land well. So I am in the doghouse in my chapter, and apparently in other places. So I'm coming to you for help.
I think you're coming to me before it comes to me.
Well, there is that too. Yeah, I'm kind of covering my butt here. I'm trying to, if that's even possible at this point.
Because ultimately, they do come to me.
I'm in confessional right now.
Well, let's talk about, let me ask you a few questions.
Okay.
When you had a problem with those few people,
yes,
in your chapter, and you did a one-to-one with them and you explained what that problem was, how did they react to you?
So when I had the problem and I had the one-to-one, how did they react?
You told them what was going on and what you were upset about.
I didn't exactly talk to them about it.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I had the problem with them. I just didn't go to them with.
So it wasn't that you didn't actually talk to them about it. You just plain didn't talk to them.
More correct, yes.
Okay. So that's the first step of a complaint, right? You go directly to that member and you have that conversation and see if you can work it out.
Okay.
So you didn't do that, but when you filed the complaint with the membership committee and you put that in writing, what did the membership committee say?
Last year?
Yeah, when you did it.
Oh, what I did is I got really angry and I talked to a lot of people. I didn't actually put any letter in last year. Why you laugh?
So you just went around the chapter and talked to everybody about what you were mad about.
Yes.
And how did you expect that to help you or the chapter?
I thought that, well, I guess like anything, I was looking for support.
Right. So let me just explain what happens and why we have the process we have. When you or a member goes out and you just start talking to everybody about who you're mad, I'm mad at Susie because Susie did this, and I'm mad at Bill because Bill did this. Now you're creating gossip and friction within the chapter because everyone in the chapter is now going to have to choose a side because they're being forced. What you're creating is a drama triangle. You're the drama. And now you're pitting each other against each other, right? So you're creating this triangle of issues. Let me just tell you a story. I had a BNI chapter, still have the chapter, just so you know. But this chapter had about 30 members. They were a pretty good sized chapter for the time. In that time, it was early 2000s. And I went to the meeting and there was about 28, 30 members in there. They were upbeat and they were doing stuff. But then about 2.5, 3 weeks later, they were down to like 11 members. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? And so I go to the chapter, and what had happened was one person was upset and talked to all the other persons in the chapter, and then started conflict. Now everybody's gossiping, and some people are taking their side and some people are taking their side. And the chapter got really furious, and half the chapter said, we didn't sign up for this, and they split. Gone. That chapter lost more than 50% of its membership because of the gossip, because of the anxiety, and because of the stress that was being caused by one person going around speaking to everybody. When the reality is, had they just gone to the person and had the conversation and then to the membership committee could have probably smoothed it over, fixed it up, had everybody back on track and gone right back down the drain. But when a member decides to speak to everybody, that puts them in violation of the BNI Code of Ethics. I will have a positive and supportive attitude, and I will build goodwill and trust. Gossiping does not do either of those things. So the fact that you're talking to everybody and getting everybody to take sides means you are creating the demise of a chapter, because that's what happens.
I feel like you're angry. Feel like you're angry at me.
Shame.
So then let's say I got to do a redo.
Okay, if you did a redo.
So I'm going to rewind to last year.
Mhm.
In the moment, what are the steps I should have taken?
First, you go away and take a deep breath and ask yourself why you're so angry, right? So you pull yourself together. Once you've pulled yourself together, then you call the person that you're angry or upset at, and you ask to have a one-to-one. And during that one-to-one, you just say, I got really upset about. And I don't know if it was valid or invalid, but I would like to express it. And I would like for us to figure out a way that we can rebuild trust and work together. And you try to work it out that way. Now, if it's something that just can't be worked out face to face, or maybe you were afraid of them, it was sexual harassment, or you're afraid of violence, then I get that. Then you go to the membership committee and you have a conversation with the vice president, because they'll direct you to the right person, because sometimes we get confused who does what on the membership committee, but they can direct you to the right person and the right process. And they will ask for your story, and they'll listen to you. And then they will ask if you're willing to put your complaint in writing. And if you are willing to put your complaint in writing, then they can call the other person and say, we have this complaint from Mark. This is what he has to say. Would you like to address it? And they will listen to their side of the story, because the truth, Mark, always lies in the middle. It's he said, she said, and the truth somewhere is in the middle. And that's what they're looking for, to find that middle ground that they can help you work it out, not to punish people, but help you work it out and find if there's a way for you to continue to work together for the good of the chapter as well as the good of the members. And that's the proper process. And then it's up to the membership committee to decide, was this really a no fault and a misunderstanding, or was this egregious fault? Right? It was egregious, and we need to take an action so that doesn't happen to anybody else.
Right. That's
the process. And what you did really created chaos with your chapter.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know I'm not alone in the creating chaos sometimes. Not that that's a good thing. Misery loves company.
Misery loves company.
So if I'm understanding you, number one, there's a process in place.
There is a process.
Follow the process with the membership committee and the vice president. Don't talk to anyone else about it. And I also do know, on the good side of me, when I am a good member, is that sometimes what have happened to members who have filed a complaint, have a legitimate complaint, in the end, they get their seat opened. Because while the complaint is in process, they're talking to all the other members and breaking the code of ethics, and then their seat is open.
And then the membership committee also violates confidentiality, and that creates problems, right?
That's also what I've heard. Sometimes membership committees do that, and they sign on confidentiality.
Well, that's why we follow a process.
Right.
Allow the process to, I say to the membership committees, allow the system to protect you.
Right.
Because that's why we have a system.
Correct. All right. So my hope for next time is that I'll regain my good member status. I will try to clean up the mess I've had, but members, know this, understand this. The complaint process there is one. It's simple. And What makes it complicated is when you do like I do and don't follow it. So keep things simple. There's your chapter members and your membership committee are there to support you. Start with them. Start with the person who you had the complaint with and go from there. And until next time, Hazel,
See you then.
I'll work on being a good member. Bye.